6 subtle but dangerous red flags in relationships. Don't ignore them. Not all storms come to break you. Some come to clear your path. But can you recognize the storm before it strikes? In relationships, what hurts most often isn't the loud betrayal. It's the quiet warning signs we ignore. Because of fear, loneliness, or deep hope, we paint over red flags with the colors of love. We tell ourselves, they'll change. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Things will get better. But red flags don't come to scare you. They come to wake you up, to protect your peace. So, what are the 6 red flags Buddha warned us about that can silently destroy your relationships? This video shares deep Buddhist teachings to help you see hidden dangers in love and attachment. Learn how mindfulness can save you from suffering and guide you to healthier bonds. Whether you're struggling in love or seeking wisdom for lasting happiness, these red flags will open your eyes. Subscribe now to walk this mindful path with us. 1. Disrespect, especially in the smallest things. Disrespect doesn't always arrive with shouting or insults. It might be a sarcastic remark, a dismissive eye roll, or a joke that turns your pain into a punchline. These small moments, repeated often, begin to shrink your spirit. You go quiet, not because you're at peace, but because you no longer feel heard. A healthy relationship should never make you feel small. Someone who truly cares will never use words to dim your light. As the Buddha once said, speak only if your words are more beautiful than silence. If you constantly feel like you're walking on eggshells just to avoid being disrespected, that's not love. That's erosion. 2. Emotional manipulation disguised as love. If someone makes you feel guilty every time you say no, every time you try to set a boundary, that's not care. That's control. They may say things like, if you loved me, you would. After everything I've done for you, how can you say no? Or use silence and withdrawal as punishment when you express your needs. In Buddhism, suffering often arises from craving and the desire to control. True love doesn't manipulate. It doesn't bind or demand. It creates space. It supports. It allows. If someone uses your kindness as a weapon, that's not love. That's emotional debt. And you'll spend your energy repaying something you never owed in the first place. When love becomes a battlefield of subtle harms, the soul begins to tire. What other silent red flags should you watch for? 3. Inconsistency. When words and actions don't align, they say you're important, but they're never there when it matters. They make promises, then forget them. They speak beautifully, but their actions tell another story. The Buddha said, 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. No matter how lovely the words, truth always reveals itself through action. Inconsistency breeds confusion, and confusion is the opposite of peace. Love is not a puzzle you're supposed to solve. It's a presence you feel over and over again. If you constantly find yourself holding on to potential, remember, potential is not a promise. It's just hope. 4. A refusal to take emotional responsibility. If someone blames others for their pain, deflects every time they're wrong, or becomes defensive when gently confronted, there's an emotional wall being built. And slowly, you become the caretaker, always fixing, always apologizing first, even when you're the one hurt. But Buddhist wisdom teaches that the mind is the forerunner of all things. Peace begins when we take ownership of our emotions instead of projecting them onto others. Someone who won't self-reflect will repeat the same wounds on themselves and on those closest to them. In a conscious relationship, both people can say, "I was wrong, I'm still learning. Let's grow together." Without that, it's not a partnership. It's a performance with one person, doing all the emotional labor. 5. When your inner peace is constantly disturbed, sometimes the red flag isn't what they do. It's how you feel over time. You feel anxious, drained, disconnected from yourself. You spend more time recovering from the relationship than enjoying it. Your nervous system is always on high alert. Buddhism teaches that peace is our natural state, but we lose it when we cling to what no longer aligns. If someone constantly pulls you out of balance, if you feel like you're slowly losing yourself, that's your soul speaking. Sometimes holding on feels like love, but the most loving thing you can do is let go. Because if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. 6. When you always have to prove your worth, red flags don't always scream. Sometimes they whisper, through the silence when you need support, through the boundaries they cross and never acknowledge, through that quiet voice inside you that says, "Maybe I'm just not enough." But you don't need a dramatic reason to walk away. You don't need anyone's permission to choose peace. And you certainly don't need to keep proving your worth to someone who refuses to see it. The Buddha once said, "You yourself, as much as anyone in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." So begin there. Give yourself the love you keep trying to earn. If these words touched something in you, take a deep breath. You are not broken, you are awakening. On this path of clarity and compassion, you are not alone. Red flags are not the end of love. They are the beginning of wisdom. Subscribe to continue this journey of healing, peace, and mindful love, one breath at a time.